into the future of our expertise and how we're going to share and give value to people. It's so exciting.
I love it. I'm super excited. And this is such a great topic.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love this topic, actually. I actually recently found out that Tony teaches this topic with his platinum group.
Really?
His relationships, right?
Okay.
So this is such an intense topic and such a beautiful one that is only for his platinum members and his platinum group.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I recently found out from a friend of mine that's platinum. And he shared it with me because he did an intervention just using these attachment styles and was able to save a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages to get things going.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's funny, like, the more I learn about it, the more I could, like, pick up on certain things. And it's like, the more you know, the better, you know, when you have the tools, when you know better, you do better kind of thing. Yeah. So if I see, like, something in somebody that might need a little extra, you know, TLC, I'm better equipped to, you know different tools to I guess, you know, connect with them.
Oh, I really like what you said there. Tell me more about that, actually. So if you notice that I was an anxious or maybe avoidant attachment style, I know you have a different wording for it, but if I was that, would you give me a little bit of love based on my need then? Or would you give me some TLC based on that?
Well, I definitely, like, understand that anxious would be fearful of, you know, like, they're always asking themselves the question, will this person leave me? Or will this person let me down? So just to be more conscious of, like, certain triggers, like, you know, because I learned that I'm, you know, that, like, there's a little bit of each style in us, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But like I did a test and I was 54% secure, but I'm also 23% dismissive.
Okay.
And, you know, 15% fearful avoidant, and I'm 8% avoidant. So that dismissive part of me, like, I know is detrimental to an anxious attachment style. You know, so instead of me fleeing or not, do you know what I mean? So, like, I would be more, conscious of showing up for the person who is a little bit sensitive in that area of, am I going to leave, or am I going to, and not be there for them or let them down.
Yeah. So actually, I think that's such a beautiful point, and it's so intelligent how you put that up. Because it took me actually a couple of times to really get to that. Because if somebody is more of that anxious style, and like you said, we all have that anxiety, it's just different times that it comes in. And some are more dominant than others. So you're secure mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at it is we're very secure in who we are when we're conscious, when things are good, so when everything's fine. But then when there's an incident, when there's a problem, when times get tough, we flee to a different style.
100%.
And that's when that second one comes in, and we might go back to that anxious. And simply, if you're in a relationship and your partner shows that anxious side, you know, let me just reassure you to get you back up to who you need to be in the relationship. And then the issues would dissolve. The issues will go away.
Mm-hmm.
If they are avoidant or the one that needs to move away, then the part of that is you just need to give them space. You just need to respect their space and just take a step back. And they will come back to you even more because they will know how secure you are in the person that you are, the person that you become. And this is where a lot of dating's going wrong. I'm seeing a lot of dates that one anxious one's really forcing it, thinking about the relationship all day, all night. And the other one's like, whoa, this is too much.
Yeah, that just happened recently to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me.
Just too much, too fast. And I was like, and I'm like, peace.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, but you know, it's more than that. But I'm conscious of it now more than ever. And you know, and I realize that you know, even though I'm mostly secure, like it's like spiral dynamics, like, you know, when you learn about spiral dynamics, and it's like, where do you live the majority of the time? And then where do you go under stress, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important. So I also realized like these styles, you know, like when we're going into the attachment styles that aren't always favorable, it's like, you know, every single one of them, the first step in acknowledging it is like to come to terms with like what was going on or what you maybe want to address from your childhood, right?
Yeah.
And then in turn, like that's the attachment style that you're probably going to parent in. So for me, it's like I mean, I like some of the qualities that like a avoidant would have. Like you want to make sure your child's like secure and can like take care of themselves. And hey, I just invited Mamuli to come in with us, and I know Mark's doing a live right now to have people join us also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
So I know he's new to this, and I'm pretty new to this too. So basically, you know, we speak, and then will we leave the end to open up the mic, or what do you think, son?
Well, we could talk about briefly what relationship attachment styles are, and then any questions around that, because this doesn't affect just singles, it affects relationships and even couples, marriages, and you'll see patterns that come in, and then if anyone has any questions about it, or even some situations that they're going through, we can really share and add value, serve them in the best way, and even give some breakthroughs, help people transform in this call or whenever they're ready to help them move forward.
Beautiful. So do you want to wait a few minutes to dive into what attachment styles are? Because I know Mark should be here in a few minutes, and he wasn't even sure, like, he's like, what's an attachment style?
Oh, really? Nice. That is so good.
Yeah.
I feel like inviting more people.
Yeah.
How have you been getting on with Clubhouse at the moment? Have you been able to figure it out?
I just, honestly, this is like, so I jumped on the first day that you invited me on. I jumped on to a call with some of my friends from the Tony community. Just briefly, I saw that a couple people were in a room that I knew, and I was like, cool, I'll jump on with them, and it was good. And then right before this call, I jumped on to a social media, like, it was like social media experts. So I just jumped on, and it's pretty cool. Like, I'm digging it.
Yeah. Gives you opportunity to network with some great people, some great minds, and really get your questions answered.
Yeah. How have you been getting along on it?
You know, I've not put as much time into it. I've just been following the rooms and listening in just to learn. But I'm really seeing, just going crazy on this, just really owning the space and really developing it, especially within this relationship team, especially within the dating team, to help people break out patterns, to be able to give value. And especially for this part, it's about giving all them secrets away, giving all the wisdom to really help people excel. And most importantly, in COVID, you know, I would love to see that as to grow on this as well, and with everyone else that's within this relationship scene, to create some great networks, create some greatness, and be able to help whoever needs helping along the way.
Well, you know, I'm passionate about this, and there's no one else I'd rather be, you know, alongside and learning from and growing with and contributing with. So I'm super pumped, super excited, and can't wait to, you know, to grow within this platform. Because, you know, at first I'm like, oh, you can't see anybody. People gotta, I just I wasn't sure, you know, any new thing. It's like, I'm not really sure about this. Like, I'm still not sure about TikTok.
It's just about going all in. Well, that movie says you got to go all in.
Right.
That's it. So I was talking to a partner friend named Brian, such a lovely guy. I think you've been
Brian Cox?
Brian Cox.
Oh my God.
So that guy there, so he's one of my friends, he's a great guy. And he was sharing about an intervention that was happening in the Platinum group for the relationship 5-day retreat. And this is an exclusive meeting where you have to be platinum to be a part of this, nothing else. When he shared some wisdom with me, it was this attachment styles that we're talking about today. And the thing is, most of the world don't know about this. But this is single-handedly one of the most important things that can transform any relationship. Once we figure out what attachment style we are and our partner is, we can actually own that space. I don't know if my mood's in a relationship or not, but when we can figure out what our partner is and who we are, we just get to understand them. When we're dating and we understand what behaviors they do. So my wife, actually, she started to grow a bit anxious. So I'll just get into a little bit of a story about the anxious, and we can talk about what it means in more depth afterwards. So when I first got with her, she was very anxious in her relationship style. So we'll be talking, we'll be dating, everything will be so nice. But then we'll get back home and she would need my reassurance. And that's what the anxious attachment style does. So she would message, but she wouldn't need my reassurance in a good way. Like, she wouldn't want to message me saying, I love you, and wait for the reply. It was more like, hey, I'm busy, or I don't like it, or I'm doing something. So she would need to get my attention to get my reassurance in the early days.
Okay.
And when I was sussing that out, is thankfully at that part I was quite secure within my relationship style. I was secure within it, so I can handle that. But if I was more of an avoidant, I would move away from it. I would back off from her, because I'd be like, whoa, this girl's a bit needy. She's a bit crazy. She's a bit drama. Yeah, she's a bit all over the place. But because I was like, okay, I understand her, I'm secure within who I am, I was actually able to really pull the relationship and pull the better side of it out and go through it.
That's gorgeous. I love that you said, you know, you were able to like inspire and pull out like the best sides of her.
Yeah, and then that's all the anxious side needs. And I love how you said earlier, how you're able to give TLC once you can notice the attachment styles. So you can give a little bit of reassurance to them. The minute you give that reassurance, you see that best side of them again.
And Sunny, I want to ask you like your opinion on like, so you know how like Tony teaches like that women, one of their needs is like they want to be seen all the time. Like,
yes.
And the more I like ask people what they need in relationships and females, and it's like, you know, it seems that us as women, we do like that attention all the time. How does that go from healthy to unhealthy in an attachment style?
Oh, yes. So that's so true. All women need that to be seen. Equally, they say that all guys, and Tony says this a lot, all guys need to be significant. Yeah. And significant to that woman. So if I come back and I'm like, oh, I met another guy that's funnier than you, and there's a funny clip from Friends. I don't know if you watched it, but there was a clip where Monica and Joey were together, and Monica goes to work and she met this guy, he's a chef, and she comes back and she's like, oh my God, Chandler. No, sorry, she was with Chandler. Yeah, oh my God, Chandler, I've met the funniest guy ever. At that minute, Chandler just froze. And he was like, what? Because that was his significance. He was the funny one. So significance is something that all guys need, and all women need to be seen. And that's within all attachment styles. Even the secure still need to be seen because they need to be heard. But the anxious one, they need to be seen more.
Got it.
They need that reassurance more. And that might not just be seeing them on the one occasion. It needs to be the messages, the follow-up, the consistency of it, to know that this person's in there.
Beautiful. And what
have you ever heard of buying powers?
Have a what?
Have you heard of meta programs on Tony Robbins?
I'm not familiar with that. Maybe I am, and I just don't know that's the name of it.
Yeah. So there's one, and actually, let me do it with you now. You know do you drive?
Yes.
Okay. When you went to buy a car, how was it for you? Did you just go see a car and you was like, this is a car that I want, this is a car that I need in my life? Or did you go see it, had to do it again, try it out, go, okay, I like this, go back home, come again and try it again, okay, I really like this, okay, and then every time you have to reconfirm that you wanted it?
Funny, I have the funniest story about buying a car. Like the last time I bought a car, I was like doing pretty well with work, and you know, I was actually on vacation with my girlfriends. We were in Saratoga. It's like this horse racing community, and like it was just so much fun. And I actually bought my car over the phone.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was so crazy. Like I went to Kinko's and signed something, and when I got home, like I picked up the car with the big giant red bow. It was like a I'm a girl, so the colors matter. Like I had the I forget what kind of gray it was, but a gray BMW, and it was just like and that red big bow on top. So no, I knew what I wanted, and I got it.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That's such a beautiful thing. Like, over the phone, I'm getting it, all of it done.
I mean,
amazing.
I spoke to I spoke to the dealer, like, I would say like a handful of times, it wasn't like it was, and I went in and saw before, so I guess maybe I did go in once, to kind of like shop. But then when I pulled the trigger to get it, it was over the phone.
Nice. That's so important. Yeah. So you went, you saw it, and then that was enough of a confirmation for you. Okay. So there's a meta program that asks, how often do people need reassurance? How often do they need a confirmation? So for you, you see it once, you test drive it, you sat in it, and then you're happy to do it over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with some people, they need to go see it, go back home, and they're like, I'm not sure about this. They have to go back again, sit in it again, test drive it again, come back home, and they're like, you know what, I'm still not sure, okay? They go back there, they test drive it again, they're like, okay, I'm done, I'm sold.
Funny, that gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I get that. So then let's look at that in relationships, okay? So in relationships, if somebody told you that they love you or they're with you, then you'll go, okay, I'm with that person. That's it, done.
Yeah.
I don't need that reassurance. I don't need you to tell me again. It's okay. However, there's some people that still has that same buying power, and they need that reassurance constantly. So it's a good way to find out about your partner, the person you're dating, yes, and when you last bought something, how many times did you need to reassure yourself or double check that you wanted it? And if they needed it all the time, then that partner will actually need that reassurance all the time. So you need to get back into a relationship and tell them, I love you again, I'm here for you again, I love you again. And then once we figure that out, the relationship works so smooth.
Beautiful. And it reminds me, like, when I'm in a relationship, like I like to remind the person and, show my love in various different ways. So is that part of it? Like, I think I'm very affectionate, and I do like to remind a lot of the time, like how much the person means to me.
Oh, nice.
But I guess
so you like to give that.
Yeah, but it's different. Like if I mean, maybe then noticing if they have a different attachment style to like show more love and care in that space, right? Like on what they might need more of.
Well, I think, obviously, if you're just like how you are in the way that we speak and how you are in person and the way you are on Facebook, then everyone sees that beautiful energy that you share out with the world. And you know my mood, so I'm sure he probably feels the same as all the lovely energy that you give out. So you give a lot and you do it so much. I think that's such a great thing to do. But if that partner doesn't know you, maybe they may not understand it. And I just want you to do this exercise that she did. I just want you to breathe out and just keep breathing out.
I can't breathe in?
No breathing in, no.
Come on. All right.
No, keep breathing out, go on. And my movement, do it as well. That's it, all out.
I'm tired.
You get tired, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what happens when we're giving so much love. That we're not giving that time to breathe in and take this in.
Amen. Yeah, that was one of my things before this work that I've done. And what would that fall under for the attachment styles?
Yeah. So for the attachment styles there, I generally find that more the anxious.
Oh.
I know you said that you're very secure within yourself, and it can be the secure because you know yourself, and then you just give because you don't think that you need it back because you already know who you are. But with the anxious, they tend to not feel like they have enough love for themselves. So they share the love too much. They give the love out to others. So they want to give because they don't believe that they deserve love inside of them.
Hmm.
I know, it's deep. It's deep, I know. It's very hard. Tell me about some of your girlfriends. What kind of attachment styles do you think they have? Or some things that come up?
So one of my girlfriends I know like that I'm very close with suffers from the abandonment and stuff. So I think I do want to touch into different attachment styles, but that one would be
I'd love you to share that one.
The abandonment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that might be fearful, right? No, that's not it. Fearful would be avoidant. No, it would be anxious.
Yeah, the abandonment. Is that fearful, that avoidant? Yeah.
Okay, that could be part of it too, but anxious tools. Okay, compassion to abandonment. So, I know that they know this, and they're acknowledging their childhood pain, and showing compassion to this abandonment. But a lot of times I ask, like, is what you're feeling true?
Oh, nice.
Like, is it actually true? And I take it sometimes it might be hard for them to open up in this way to people that they don't trust, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's also like, sorry, I'm staying with my friend, her dogs are going all crazy, but I think it's also important that, basically like to give yourself grace and to acknowledge the feelings is important.
Yeah.
And not to say like they're good or bad, like what, or to acknowledge them when they're good, bad, or ugly. Like it just that, it's a feeling that you're feeling. But I think the key point in that abandonment is to say, like, is what I'm feeling actually true?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true because when you think that you're abandoned, you put that wall up. So we could touch into that avoidant actually. So that avoidant and that abandonment mindset comes from that place of loss, and they feel like they don't have someone around them or with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it could have happened when they were young, where a father left them, a mother left them. Could have been a small incident that scarred them, a trauma. And then when they feel that abandonment, they put up a wall that goes, I don't want to let anyone in. I don't want you to enter my life because what if you abandon me again? I've already been hurt. I recognize this feeling inside. And this attachment style, actually, I find the most interesting because when I work with my singles, it's the abandonment style that keeps relationships away. So they always come to me with this traditional mindset where they go to me, after let's go on 2-3 dates, and then I don't know what happens, it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, something's going wrong there. Right? And then when we look into it, it's when they have so much of a wall up that they put all these barriers up, what actually happens is they don't allow the person to come in, and then they don't come in. So it fizzles out after a couple of days. They move away from each other. There's not enough depth. There's not enough emotional connection for it to work. And that's because the walls are up to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look deeper, it's actually from a place of self-loss, and they don't love themselves enough, that they don't recognize that they're good enough. And that's because of that abandonment. So when we're younger and the trauma comes in, we start thinking, I'm being abandoned right now. I must not be good enough. So you know what? F you. I'm going to show you that I am better than this. I'm going to show you that I'm more than this. And a lot of them work really well in business. I don't know about your friend, but she's successful in terms of whatever she does.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Very, very dedicated, very like by the rules, like very structured.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome to see. And
because that can't hurt her. She can't be hurt by working hard, she knows she's going to get the outcome and the results.
Yeah. I've noticed this, like, so would you say that there's benefit to that style, or should we just stick with like you want to be secure at all times? Because I know it downplays the importance of relationships, and it's almost like that, you know, you're self-reliant to an extreme. So that makes you quite vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It is lots of good benefits to that. Success in business is a massive benefit, right? Success at work and independence to travel wherever you want, to do whatever you want, and have that FU attitude, yeah? So if somebody else comes into their life and starts putting them down, they go, you know what, I don't even need to listen to you. I don't need to listen to your limiting beliefs that you're passing on to me. I'm going to own my own space, and I'm going to do what I want, because I don't have that emotional attachment to anyone, right? So when we're codependent, we actually think, oh, what you're saying is correct. Let me take in this information. However, when we hold back and they're the avoidance style, they perform super. When we just jumped onto the speaker stage as well, so you can talk whenever he's ready. And yeah, they hold back, so they don't need to get the approval of anyone. But it's a lonely place inside.
Absolutely.
It's a lonely place for them to be by themselves. So in relationships, it's a negative because they push good relationships away. They cut people off. But in business, it's actually amazing. It's actually so good. So
yeah, and if you don't mind, I could share some tools on how to deal with the avoidant style. Aside from, you know, asking yourself, is this thing that I've built up actually even true? And acknowledging, you know, maybe something from your upbringing that triggers certain things. But also just showing yourself compassion, and starting small. Like for me, like honestly, like my word of the year is balance. So I've noticed, like, if I'm at whatever it was, 24% of this, and who knows, it's just a quiz I took. Like, I know that this is a commitment that I have to like deepen connections from a surface level to a deeper connection with people.
Yeah.
And that might look like small doses of this deep connection, and compromising and sharing some small vulnerabilities. And then to acknowledge when I'm not stepping up to the plate, and maybe apologize if I'm dismissive, and just knowing that I'm not perfect in this.
That's beautiful. So to understand yourself, to be able to let go, that's such a good tool to be able to overcome these little issues. Because would you say then that the avoiding or the abandonment style, they might focus on perfection more than they might focus on what they won't have or can't have, or the perfection side of things? And that's why they're hard on themselves.
I think sometimes, but not always. I'm not sure. I mean, sometimes I'm like, am I trying to be perfectionist?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, then other times I'm like, I really need to get my stuff together. So I don't know.
You're mainly secure, right?
Yeah.
You're mainly secure, and then that's when you step back into that. A great tool that I do actually is step into that anxious, step into that avoiding. And you know what? It's such a powerful thing. And then step into the secure. So you can all do it, and it's following the triad system. You step into that triad of what would it be like to be anxious? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? What are you focusing on? Or can I do it? Am I good enough? How would you breathe? Are you more in hope? Is your language more like, oh, I hope they like me. I want them to like me. Then you step into secure. Like, tell me, what would it be like to step into secure? What would your focus be like?
Well, like, it's funny because, like, secure, I mean, just like trusting easily and,
yes,
you know, fairly easily. I know I have a ton of friends that are like, you just love everybody right off the bat. Like, and like people don't really need to necessarily earn my trust. Whereas I have friends that, you know, I actually admire their style, but it's like people gotta kind of earn the right. And in a sense, I could understand that to get like super close. But I think secure, you're trusting fairly easily. You're really in tune with your emotions. Yeah. And this is a big one that I'm stepping into more, is to communicate the things that upset me directly. Because the more I'm learning about that, is like, even with just like goal setting this year, like I thought about how the little things do add up to be the big things. And if you push certain things down or not address certain things, it winds up being like a big, massive fight or upset, when you could just address things directly and in a constructive way and move forward. While being flexible to the other person, of course.
Yeah, one of my big things for this year is that mature honesty, and that's I learned that from Master Co. I know that he was part of that. It's that mature honesty, and that's actually one of my big things, is being open and transparent, and that's the trait of a secure person. Is if there is a problem with the relationship, I'm going to say that with you. I'm going to say, hey, I feel like you're being a bit distant. Is anything happening? Is everything all right from your side? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then where the avoidance side might go, oh, you're being distant, I'm going to be more distant.
Yeah. Me. I've been there. I've been like, all right, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. If you're trying to move away, I'm going to move away first. And then we have the anxious type, and they're going to go, you're moving away? No, you're not. I'm coming in faster. I'm coming in.
That's hilarious.
With that secure, we'll actually have that conversation. Go, hey, you've been a bit distant. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Something going on. See it for what it is. Nothing greater.
Absolutely. And I've been learning, like, a lot of the couples that I've been interviewing that are successful, like, they have that weekly meeting. I mean, that weekly check-in.
Oh, nice.
And I love that.
I'd love you to share more about that, actually. Have you noticed their attachment styles, or have you started feeling for it?
To be honest, I notice it, like, I haven't thought about it consciously, but of course I notice it, in a way, because I'm usually focused on, like, what the good side, like, what are the good qualities that I could, bring out and write down and share with others. But I definitely see attachment styles. I'm going to be more conscious after this talk of it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And, track it as well, and I'll track it, and at some point I'm sure we can share our findings, write a book, publish a book about it, and just see how it actually works in the couples that we've been working with and coaching, and the clients that we come across.
Beautiful.
And we'll be able to make massive impacts into the world.
I'm so grateful for you, Sonny.
Likewise, I think you're like my soul twin or something. I think you're on the same side. When you watched Soul the other day, I was watching Soul that day, and I was like, how is this happening? We're miles away from each other. I didn't get it, but I was like, you know what, it's good. I'm happy with it. I like it. We follow the same people. We're watching this. We're on the same journey.
Absolutely. It's so funny. I've watched it like 4 times. I missed it. I want to watch it again.
It's so good. So you know my mood, and then do you want to ask, or do you have any questions on the mood about attachment styles?
Just like Fanny and Jennifer, of course, thanks for inviting me, Jennifer. Of course, we've been connected since I guess since I attended Jumbo Business Mastery in Florida, the last live program that they could do before the COVID.
Missed some live events.
Yeah, so I had my own series of challenges. I guess I think you just hit it on the nail when you said that when you you feel at lost relationship, the way I am, then I guess I found my escape, being successful in the other aspect of my life.
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you find this helpful, like learning about the different tools, and just like, I feel like the more we learn about it and the more we know and just talk about it, the better we could be from it.
Yeah, I think that is what I've been avoiding all my life. relationship because it makes me feel weak. I think that this is the second or third time. I don't know, Jennifer. I don't know, but maybe it's that I believe in cosmic.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There's a certain point in your life that you say, this is the time, and then something happens, and then somebody brings you the opportunity, or maybe there's a turning. You come on a turn, and then you see the opportunity that you've been wanting to avail. But as you said earlier, that the relationship, avoidance in the relationship, and the person, if you are a person like Vivek, I think that I'm a alpha person, so I like to show myself that I'm better, and so that I can get over my loss of failure in relationships. So I try to accelerate my work, and that makes me feel like I am who I am, and that it makes me stronger. It makes me feel that I'm powerful, and I don't accept a failure or a second position. I don't accept it. I mean, I'm not trying to be cocky here, but I mean, failure is not an option for me, and I just go for it. Somehow the relationship is not my forte.
So you could. Go ahead, buddy.
Sorry, okay. With me, just two things there. I want to honor you and respect you for what you just said there and opening up and sharing. So thank you so much. That was absolutely beautiful, especially when it's a tough subject.
I think the reason I was able to share it because I don't have to share my face with the people I'm talking to.
We've got the nice photo.
I think that is why this app is going to going through the roof, because people because as you said, Jennifer, as you were saying earlier, that I said weird, because Oliver is just always another face. I think that this is a better option for people that you don't have to go through just somewhat. Because some people have this right now. I mean, if I need to talk about my own personal things, I would be more comfortable like the way I am now, that I can talk about it, because I know that looking at me, looking at my body language, and because I know all of that, because I am so conscious about being a business owner, and I own several companies, and I know all of that. How it manifests in your life. So that's why I guess as I said, a cosmic connection. Yeah. I think that the Clubhouse voice room is a cosmic connection. And Jennifer inviting me over. I mean, God bless you, Jennifer. I mean, it may be a very big start of our relationship going forward as a comrade, as a friend, partners in success and in many aspects of our lives. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful for you and being here as our audience, and I feel your sentiment about like we're able to open up a bit more on here, and I think that's what people are craving. Because a lot of times I think on other social media platforms, it's almost like a rehearsed thing or a prepared thing, and this is just people coming on, sharing their expertise, and just really talking from, I think, like a soul level. Going back to soul, Sunny. I mean, I think it's I don't know, it's like a deeper connection that people need right now during this time, I think also.
Right, and exactly what Mamid and you were saying there, this cosmic connection right now, and especially Mamid was able to jump on this call or this room, and I'd see that we can make a shift in that life of yours straight away. Mamid, I'd love to find out a little bit more about, sorry Jen, I know that you had a question for Mamid before, so I would love to find out a little bit about what happened in the past relationships that stopped you from succeeding or having this belief that relationships don't work out.
Can I just say one thing quick?
Yeah, please.
I didn't want to ask him a question. I just wanted to ask, well, in a sense, I wanted to ask you a question about maybe reframing that you're not good at something or you're not successful in something, because that's just a belief. Like, I think that you are successful if you put your focus on it, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right, Jennifer. And Sunny, you were right also in the way you're asking, but I think that's Jennifer put it in a rephrasing it. Thank you for that. I don't know, because I had a very complex relationship life. I don't know. I don't want it. I went to a seminar a year and a half ago, and that was the first time I opened